Welcome to Let's Talk Miracles. If you're somebody who finds yourself just kind of stuck in life, you know what you want, but as you get closer to maybe attaining that goal, whether it's professionally, personally, you find yourself blocked. You just can't get past a certain point. We're going to help you out with that. We're going to reset you, actually reset your mind. Don't worry, this is good stuff here. We've got somebody who is a survivor, a healer. She's a certified hypnotist, dream builder, and she's also a life coach. And she joins us today. It is Marybeth Stevenson from letstalkmiracles.com. Welcome, Marybeth. How are you doing?
Thank you. Welcome. Good. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
I find a lot of people saying the same exact thing, that why can't I move forward in life? I can't understand why. I know what I want to be doing or have a pretty good idea in terms of my job, even in relationships, or people keep getting into the same wrong types of relationships. But why are we all stuck, a lot of us?
Because my version, because we finally have come to a point in consciousness or in our reality where people are becoming more aware. It doesn't look pretty when we're experiencing it. It doesn't look pretty at all. It feels hard, and it feels like, are you kidding me? We all listen to things now that we think are bettering us, which there definitely is a too much information part of that, which I even experience myself. Like, I have to chill myself back. But that's really good. To answer that question, it's good that we're running into ourselves, because we're at least aware that we are. We're aware that there's something better out there. We're aware that these people that talk about these states of bliss and joy and laughter and harmony, honest to Pete, they exist. I know, because I've lived them for most of my life, and then I didn't for about 8 years. And oh God. So my thing is, let me, and you help me and me help you get back to that, because I know it exists. It doesn't mean you don't experience trauma. It doesn't mean you don't experience being overweight. It doesn't mean any of that. But I don't know the right words to tell you, but somehow it's just, you're almost pushed. It's like you're just pushed through to the right way. And
By practicing the right language, the right direction that you want to go in terms of, mentally. But you know what? I guess we should say the whole thing here. This all lies in your subconscious, right?
Yes, powerful, very powerful. The subconscious mind is basically where we get everything from, all of our programming. And that's another thing. What does that mean? It means that every single thing, every person that we talk to, every mother, father, preacher, teacher that we've heard since birth, everything is in there, and it's a program from, of course, the most efficient or to 6 years old, and then it goes to 15 years old. But I've been programmed, not meaning to be, at this point in life, where I think, what am I doing giving all that attention and energy to something I absolutely want no part of?
But are you doing that because it was programmed in you from your upbringing? From 0 to 7, and I'll just call it 7 or 8 to 14, 15. And now it's just, the program's just repeating itself just over and over again. And that's how you react to different situations.
I would like to say yes to that, because I was a byproduct of my mother's journey. So as she was searching, I was living. I was just living in this harmony with the universe, So that would be my programming. However, when I wasn't living in it, and now I'm not in it all the time anymore, where I feel like I was in it all the time then, what's that? That's programming that I've allowed in since I decided to welcome fear. And basically, if you believe in evil, fear is it. Fear is the only thing stopping us in anything. Even becoming nice to someone for some reason is fear. An ego is kind of fear, And ego isn't a bad thing,
These words that we have these different perceptions of, like ego. Everybody has an ego.
Yeah.
Some have bigger egos than others, and maybe that can be challenging or problematic if you don't keep it in check. But, words like karma, right away. Negative comes up. Karma's coming back. Karma's a bitch. Those types of things. But that's not really the reality.
It's really not. I heard this morning that in Sanskrit, karma is what you're coming back at you, basically. And I'm sure that I didn't say that exactly right, but like namaste means from the good in me to the good in you, that kind of thing. And That's all the karma is. So think if we can hold ourselves, not try, because try is a word that we have to throw away. We have to do it. Whether we do it and it's not good or it's not right, and we do it and it's right, do it. Do it. Don't try or you'll half do everything in your life. But yes, karma, yeah, that's a very good. Words
Yes.
are programmed. Words are programmed. Spelling, spells. Voodoo, ugly. Put a pin in it.
Yeah.
You know, witchcraft, bad. Yeah.
Let's talk about some of that language. So, for example, and just what you're saying, the word try. Lose the word try. Will.
Yeah.
Or we're so used to when we send an email to say, and it's like autopilot, you know, hi, Marybeth, I hope you're doing well. You hope? Yeah, well, you do honestly. You hope the person's doing well,
Right.
but you know, how about I trust you're doing well?
Yes.
Because now you're
Oh my
trusting in
gosh,
the universe.
that's amazing, Steve. Yes.
But you just automatically write it because you don't know how to start an email.
Right.
I don't mean you don't know, but that's, you know, what else am I going to say?
What's
And then-
appropriate?
what's appropriate? And then you get to the meat of the email. Oh, you know, are we going to meet tomorrow at 4 p.m. or
Right.
whatever it might be?
Yeah.
What are some of the other language that we can tweak in terms of what we say? Because to your point before, we're reprogramming or running the program over and over again by saying those things like I hope or all the other stuff.
I'll try.
Yeah.
Or yeah. So
I
it's-
wish.
yeah. Yeah.
There's another one. You know,
Right.
it's an easy one, but all we're doing is putting a minor mental block up from attaining what you want to happen.
And that comes in fear. If I say I trust or I know, we immediately think, well, what if they're not? Was
Right.
that too bold?
We're committed.
We
We're
committed.
We committed
We
to that with
committed.
that statement.
Yeah. So that's a big program in our heads. And you know, the way thoughts work is we don't have a choice to think or not. So if we do positive thinking and if we do what's good for us and what we're listening to, that already states that we're doing what we should do because we're listening. If you're watching this, then you're supposed to be watching this. Even if it's a sentence, even if it's one thing that you get out of it, get it. However, the rest of the time, we're just living in it. And, you know, to be thinking all day long, I want to come from love. I want to see the good. I want to, you know, it's got to become instinctive. It's got to become the program. You know?
Well, like we said at the very beginning, you need to reset your mind.
Yes.
With a certain language. Are there other things that we can say to get that done? You know,
Absolutely.
different phrases, statements.
So, okay, affirmations. Everybody
Sure.
knows affirmations are a big thing. They seem to come out again years ago. I just want to say this. The information that we're, you know, inundated with now on YouTube, a lot of it, great information. I mean, good stuff. I don't even want to talk about what else is out there, but I know good stuff. The thing is, the wild thing is that this stuff or information has been there since I was born. So I was brought up on it. The authors are different. However, the people now, I guess they're influencers that are out there, they're talking about those people. They're talking about Neville Goddard, who believed in the law of assumption, who believed in the imagination was God, you know, and he's all over the place right now. He was way advanced for his time, way, way, way advanced. However, if you live the way he says to live, or we say to live, or we're talking about right now, I know because I lived it, it works. I know it. So what else can you do? Keep saturating your subconscious mind. Saturate it. When you're sitting there in the joy of being angry at somebody because they wronged you after all, it's useless. It's so useless because, you know, eventually you're going to get over it if it's a basic day-to-day thing.
100%.
Right.
Why are you wasting the time?
And your energy and your power.
Because you allowed them to make you
Yes.
feel that way and continue to, if they did you wrong. But on the flip side, they don't care.
No. And here's I don't want to say the worst part about that, but guess what? You needed to experience something out of that. And that's why you think like, I didn't sign up for this. Yeah, somewhere along the line you did. somewhere along the line,
Hmm.
you have programmed in your brain something that's allowing this experience to happen. Now, I don't want to get into illness or accidents or anything like that, because that's a whole other level of what we're talking about today.
Sure.
And I'm not playing God here by any means. However, like I said, I know that and here's another big thing. You're saying, what else can we do? Come from love and take power in yourself. As we know, the I am is everything. So instead of throwing it out there in your future, I wish, I hope, I am rich, successful. And by the way, the universe, God, the all, whatever makes the grass grow between cement, that's all they wanted for us. This is two things, creation and experiences. That's all the all or God or the universe cares about.
Here.
That's why we're here.
Okay.
That's why we're here, to expand consciousness for God or the all or the universe. I don't even know. What do we want to call it?
Whatever you believe
today?
in, whatever you...
Whatever
I go with
your
universe.
boat.
I love that one. I think
Yeah.
the universe supports you. What is the universe? Well, you decide.
Yeah,
It's up to you.
You decide, exactly.
Is it a God? Is it whatever?
Right. Is it this powerful force? And that's what I mean. There is something else out there, because I know the wonderful things that have happened to me in my life were magic. I did not get there with just me trudging along. There was a push, a gentle push, and it's almost like you wake up out of it. Can I give you a quick example?
Please.
Okay. So when I was younger, my husband passed away at 35 years old. I was a young mom, 3 children, 7 and under. We had no life insurance because we didn't think he was going to die. Just living life. Okay. We went through some stuff in our marriage. We had come to a beautiful point.
Mm-hmm.
I had finally just said, something happened to me. I was praying, but I wasn't praying, oh, please, it wasn't those kind of prayers anymore. It was almost, I was done with them. They were just like, look, this is what I want. This is how I want it to be. I never thought about another man or anything like that. I was like, this is how I want to feel. This is how I want my children to be raised. And frankly, I wasn't a very good example of that in my everyday life, even though I was programmed right. Had a great life all my life. And up until then, I lived a magical life. So I had left my career. I was doing this. It got to that point, and all of a sudden, everything became peaceful. I went down the shore for the summer. Out of nowhere, after 7 years, I called my company and I said, I'm ready to come back to work. Now, why did I say that? Why didn't I say, do you think that maybe I could come back? I mean, I look at that now and think, wow, yeah, right? Or,
Okay.
Do you think that, maybe on a part-time basis, because now I have 3 children, I have a husband. I mean, the ball game is different now. We're in a different field. And I called very matter of fact, and all they said is, are you sure you're ready? Because, you know what it takes to be successful here. And I said, yep, I'm ready. He sends me out. I get an apartment in a townhouse. This is 2 hours away from my home. Wildest thing. And I thought, I don't know what I thought. I just kept going. And my husband's like, what are we doing? Are we moving there? Are we separating? And I said, no, I don't think so. I mean, no, right? We're good. Like, everything's great and all. He died.
Out of nowhere.
Swear to God. Friday the 13th, out of nowhere. 3 days before his birthday, the kids and I were at the shore for the summer. We were on the boardwalk waiting for him to come down that night. And I get a call, and it's like, you have to come identify. There's no easy way to say this. Cell phones were just starting. So it was like, so you're thinking, did I hear it right? And
Right,
yeah. And I have 6 little kids in a van, and I'm just driving around Wildwood, New Jersey, which was very hectic in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to get to a hospital to identify his body. I'm not saying it was a good thing that he died. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it almost looked like I knew he was going to die, because suddenly I had a job to go to.
It's like you started another life.
Yes.
Or the second phase of your life, not knowing that the first phase was going to end.
Right.
But why? Or you don't know, just because.
I don't know. And I've looked at that so many, and I could give you, honestly, 20 of those examples in my life. I won't, but I could. And they're all that, like, you got to be kidding me. Like, seriously.
But I don't think it's just you.
No.
It's if you're aware and tuned into present, you'll pick up on these signs because I never did until in my journey I started looking and started, what? First thing you're going to say, what a coincidence.
Yeah,
What a
right.
coincidence. I think we both believe there are no coincidences.
Right.
I was at a restaurant last night. My friend was playing guitar and singing, and I was with somebody, and I said, I know it's a great song, and I gave the lyrics, and he's way over there. He starts playing that song.
Wow.
And the lyrics had meaning with the person I was with at that moment. There was a connection there. And he starts singing. I'm like, do you realize that he's doing that song right now? Like, what are the chances of that?
Right.
There's no way he read my lips. He couldn't see me from that distance.
No.
It was supposed to happen.
It was.
At that
moment. And make no mistake, you were the power that pushed it along. So
I have to believe that. There's no other way for it to happen.
Good or bad. And
right.
so,
well, you could be pushing negativity out there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's where we got the negative about karma.
Right.
Because I never bothered to say to you, oh my gosh, Steve, that was such great karma that you did, But I will say to you, karma if you would have said something bad. And that's ridiculous. But you will get it. You will get it back.
Good or bad.
Good or bad.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Good or bad, right? Yeah. It's like the boomerang. You know what? We should change the name from karma. You're going to get the boomerang because everybody's got that association of karma being really bad.
Right.
So
boomerang seems kind of fun. Oh, boomerang.
I'm going to throw it out and it's going to come back my way.
Boomerang you.
Yeah. Right.
I'm boomeranging you with good. But back to the power of your words. Like there's been instances, I heard a story the other day. It's from the Book of Life and How to Play It. Florence Shinn, by the way, written in the 30s, up with Neville Goddard, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Power of
Subconscious.
The Power of Positive Thinking. Norman Vincent Peale came out in the 40s. And if you read that book, he's talking about all the stuff that we're all talking about now.
Isn't that wild?
He talks about energy.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody walk by, think in your mind, I wish them well. I hope they're doing okay.
Steve, that is such an important part. Wish them well. And I don't know about you. I mean, I was brought up to do that in a very on the borders kind of a way. Like, you don't think that, or, but not imagine to be taught as a child, you think them well. It will come back to you 1,000-fold.
Right.
But the beauty is you have no idea what you're doing for them. I mean, we're powerful. It's like you said, you were sitting across the room, you thought of a song, you spoke it into the lyrics, and it came on.
It wasn't more than 30 seconds later because he changed songs. He wait a minute, that's the song.
Right. It's like,
and it was an obscure song. That's the major point. And I didn't even know he was into that artist.
Right.
He sings and plays everybody. He goes from, Prince to Elvis to, Bieber, like all over the place.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to play that song.
Right.
And the song doesn't matter. Just the point that
he played the song.
But yeah, the energy of putting it out there. So many of us will judge. We'll look at somebody and we'll think, look what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And a negative thought. Well, why not flip that around and say, I wish them well. Hope they have a good day. Or they look
I hope
like
they feel beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Without the hope they feel beautiful. It's got to come from, I really hope that they feel beautiful.
Well, we're using the word hope, so now let's change it
Oh,
around.
jeez. Yeah, right. See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish them well. I trust they're
well.
going to have a good day.
Yes. And there was something I was just going to go back to. Oh, I was listening to a story this morning, and just about how powerful we are with our thoughts. And I'm emphasizing a negative one, but I'm trying to say the power of the positive ones. Long story short, there was a woman. She loved this house. It was like her dream home. Her neighbor lived in it, blah, blah, blah. That's all she kept putting effort, that house. He died. A couple of years later, she went to what they called then, I'm sorry, I forget the name of it. It's in the book by Florence Schivel. What she used to do for people was hold energy. You would go to her, and I think now we call that like a fortune teller or a witch. But basically, you would go to her and you would say, look, I have something coming up and it's $3,000 and I don't have it and I really need it. And she would hold that space for you. And it would come there's a million stories of it coming. I'm sure there's a million where it didn't, but that would be their own person's problem. Anyway, the guy dies. Years later, she's like, do you think I had anything to do with his death? And she said, yes, I absolutely do. But you've paid your karmic return because her husband, whom she loved very, very much, died as weird as my husband did. But yes, we matter. And, because we don't have people telling us that every day, like, you matter. Your thoughts, Steve, they matter. Your feelings, they matter in a great, big, beautiful, wonderful way. How many times? I've never been told that myself.
We don't do it.
We don't do it.
And now more than ever, just with our society, if I walked up to you and said, Mary Beth, you matter. You're a great person. You'd look at me like, typically like, creeper.
Yeah, and that's the exact word.
And same thing when you're in a convenience store, you're walking in, walking out, to just smile to somebody. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
A lot of times we feel uncomfortable doing that just because of the way our society is.
Yeah.
But, back in the 30s,
what do they want from me?
Right. But back in the day, when these books we're talking about were written, 30s, 40s, whatever, that was kind of the norm. You were just nice to people.
Yeah.
That's just the way it was.
Right. And being nice to people, and then back then, think about saying, I want more than this. It was pretty much, I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, that, you have a roof over your head, you have shoes on your feet, you be grateful. You don't ask God for riches or gold or anything like that. Yes, you can, because we're here for the experience. You have to, by now, I think we all know when we're asking for wealth and opulence and, it's beyond paying our bills. The just enough world, I'm sick of it. No, I'm ready. I'm worthy. I want so much more than enough. And I know I'm worthy of it. Financially, every single day, every single thing. I like more. And there's no guilt. And raised Catholic, you were raised Catholic? Yeah.
I was.
So there's guilt. There's guilt. Nothing against Catholicism at all. Best foundation I could have ever had. However, I don't know if they speak of it like that now. I don't know if the Catholic Church still puts guilt. I don't know, because anything we get now we allow. So, that's that.
Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. We would feel guilty thinking that we should get abundance.
Yes.
And for good, though. You don't want, I want all this money, I want this all coming my way, if you're not going to use it for something in a positive way. Just got a disclaimer there.
Correct.
It's not going to come your way.
Right.
But we feel funny
or it
doing
will,
that.
and then you'll have...
Right. Well, as it goes, more money, more problems.
Yes.
You create those problems. But I have many friends who should be doing better. And I really think it comes from the block. If you grew up and your parents said just what you said, watch. We don't have money for that. We don't. You got to be careful. You got shoes on your feet. So in our minds, subconsciously, we're saying, no, that's it. I'm not gonna get past this point. I'm not gonna make more money. I'm not gonna get the things that I really, really would like to have in life.
Wish I dare even speak sometimes. You dare even speak.
Right.
Know.
Why can't I have a red sports car?
Right.
What's wrong? Really, honestly, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Why not?
People would say midlife crisis.
Right.
They immediately go, but actually you usually can't afford a red sports car till you're in your midlife, which is really what that boils down to, I think, anyway. Yeah, we can. We really can. We can have it all. And for me, climbing back up the ladder to living in the flow in that, because, oh my God, it's, you wake up in the morning, feet on the ground, it's excitement. You can't wait to go to sleep because you want to wake up to start the next day. And, my son recently said to me, I am not buying into all that stuff you taught us growing
woo-woo
up.
stuff, okay.
Yeah, like love your job, love what you do, and you never work a day in your life and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, everything is work, Mom, everything. Face it, brushing your teeth. He said, I go to the gym every day. I've made myself accept it, but it's work. And I said, but you're saying the exact same thing. You're just choosing to look at it differently. You do it every day. You love the person that you are. Switch it a little. It's not a crock of stuff, because for 25 years, I worked with a company. I love what I did. I didn't work a day in my life. I loved it. And they kept promoting me, giving me different titles. They just let Marybeth play. Basically, they paid me to be me. I never held an executive title like a vice president or anything. They'd be like, no way. I didn't use the computer. I had an assistant. That wasn't my strengths. And sometimes if we know that, go with what feels good to you. Don't feel guilty. If you know what you like to do it and do more of it. Enjoy. It doesn't mean you have to be a painter. It doesn't mean, what do you like to do every day? What do you like to do?
What's your purpose? What do you feel?
What are you feeling?
It's there's a reason talents were put in us to share them as gifts. Yes, get compensated for your gift.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you give it away, but you're also getting paid for it. But we all have that in us, but we need to figure out and find out what it is. And if you go to work every day just, miserable, right, maybe you haven't found it yet.
Maybe. And,
Maybe.
how about the people that, I used to work by Harrisburg, Pennsylvania government. And so these people, they would be at jobs for, if I stay 30 years, the pension I get. Well, now here it is 30 years later. And I think, well, were they so wrong? Because I don't have a pension. But my words to them back then was, you've got to be kidding me. You're going to, oh my God, you hate it. You hate it.
Okay, so for those 30 years, were you happy?
Right.
That's the question. You spent all those years, you got your pension. All right, maybe, you get the golden parachutes, the rainbow in the sky. Are you happy now?
Right. Are you happy now? And
Yeah.
maybe you took a trip to Hawaii on your big anniversary year, or I don't know. You can have those little chunkets every single day. Every single day. You just have to know it. And okay, do you know you're worthy? Do you know, Steve, that you are worthy of a life of, seriously, everything that you desire? Do you know that?
I am the most humble person I know. And yes.
So you know that.
I do. And I firmly believe, like we said before, those things that you go through in life and you take a look at it and say, why is this happening? There's a reason it's happening, but until you get to the other side of it or move past it, you're looking at what you have now thinking, well, this is the way it is and the way it should be. No, maybe when you get over here, it's going to be way better than it was over there. But you don't know it until you get there.
And you don't know better yet because you didn't feel it.
Right.
So, and that's the thing too. To ask for, let's go back to the beginnings of how to reset yourself. To say you want abundance, to say you want joy, you have had to see it, or I don't know about lifetimes or dimensions or realms, whatever they say we jump to here and there, but you have had to know it, or you would not be desiring it. You only seek out that you know, or you wouldn't know to seek it out, So to say affirmations every day, I am abundant, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am strong, blah, 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 blah. That's exactly what the universe hears. But to say affirmations every day where it's like, I am wealthy, I'm actually wealthy, I'm a multimillionaire, me, Marybeth Stevenson, I'm not, but yeah,
But you never know. That's the thing.
I know. I do know in this lifetime. I don't know why I know. I've known it since I was a kid. So every time I get
what?
That I'm going to be I'm going to be in a situation where I'll never have to think about money. Here's why I know it, because I've always thought about money. So until I lose that thought, I've
thought about money in which way though?
Like grandeur way. I've lived in very different paths of lives. Even when I'm living up here, I always look for somebody else to give it to me. So that means basically I had this magical job where they bought me a home. And this is nothing else going on there but me working.
Are we saying this happened or this
happened?
Okay.
In my youth. They bought me a home, interior decorated it. All my stuff came in from Italy, raspberry toilet. And anyway, a new car, took me out clothes shopping. And this was just my boss, okay? It was, and a friend at that point. I lost my train of thought. Oh my God.
But how this happened? You said you knew this was going to happen?
So my thing was, I depended on him for my success. So I walk into his office one day after 5 years of grandeur. I mean, I was like, it looked like I owned all the hotels, had different titles on my car. I mean, it's whatever Marybeth wanted, because I was giving back sales. Because of the way I thought, I did very, very good for them. Make no mistake about that.
But were you happy?
Yeah, but I was happy. So who the heck cares? We were all happy. So I walk into his office and I said, I got to go. And he's like, what are you talking about? You got to go. And this leads into when I called him back after 7 years. I said, you are my everything. And I said, I would hate to be a man because how you feel depends on how I feel. And I don't know what gave me that insight in my late 20s,
So
early
you walked
30s.
in and left the job?
In the bliss, in the middle of it all.
Why?
That reason.
What's the reason?
There was something inside of me that said, this could go away just like that if he says you're fired. You know, I didn't have, yeah. And basically, I could have all the things I had because him and I were such, you know, because I did so well for his company. I was like, you know, it wasn't anything bad because he's like, you are insane. This is the biggest mistake of your life. I said, I know, but I have to make it. And I don't know why. Still to this day, I don't know why. Sometimes I think, what if I hadn't? But for the most part, I've lived life. And I went back to it. You know, it wasn't as grand and all, but...
Pretty huge, pretty wild to just say that.
Yeah.
I got it all going on. You were in your 20s?
I was in my late 20s.
Late 20s.
I just turned 30, actually.
I mean, you hit pay dirt.
I did.
Like, this is... And I asked you before because I wanted to know if you were happy in doing what you were doing. You were. And then just... Yeah. Was it a premonition? Was it a feeling? Was it...
It was an empty feeling. It was... Even though I was so, everything every day was so great. And, you know, he would bring me in and say, where do you see yourself in 3 years? I'd say, I see myself training from the dishwasher up. You know, every role is important in the hotel, even though I was sales, you know, bartenders matter, you know. Anyway, I would create as I went along. He got more hotels. I got more to create. Okay, so now I go out and I train people how to sell. Better than that. Now we go to conferences in Florida at our premier property, and I get picked up in a limo with my name, and I get to teach the general managers. So I started to take that role. I was like zipping all around, you know, East Coast. Meantime, my kids were allowed to come with me on the weekends. My husband, I'd sign for meals. I mean, it was fun. But that was second time around. The first time around when I did all that without my kids and my husband, my second husband, I felt this empty inside of me, like this feeling that it couldn't be quenched. And I don't know if that was depression because I had not experienced depressed at that point. I didn't even know what worry was or shame or guilt. I didn't know. Because
but you knew that something wasn't
right.
But it's also, let's take that job and turn that into a relationship with somebody. How many people have said, I got it all. People look at us, it's fantastic. We're the power couple. Great house, kids, dog, white picket fence. I feel empty. It's kind of the same equation.
Yes, it is exactly the same equation. Yes.
You just feel empty.
Let me add to that. I was just turning 30 and there was no one special in my life. You know,
well, that's not to say that would have changed anything.
No.
You could have, job-wise, you go every day and you've got it and
You're meeting new people. Absolutely.
But you feel empty. Because probably that wasn't your purpose. It wasn't aligned with what's in here. You weren't doing what you should have been doing.
Right.
And something was miscued. I give you credit for realizing that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes, at the time I would think, that's not true. I didn't even take the time to think, what the heck are you doing? I was just too into being Marybeth, being Marybeth.
Well,
and it all turned out great. I mean, don't misunderstand me, but yes.
But so many of us would not make that change.
Yeah.
In our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. To make a bold change like that, I did it too. I was at a big job for 2.5 decades. It was what I wanted to do. I nailed it in the very beginning and just didn't feel right anymore. Just wasn't aligned. And after thinking about it and even looking at other offers in the company, I just woke up on a Monday and out of nowhere, I was like, Wednesday's going to be my last day after all those years. And this is exactly what I wanted. But after a while, it didn't feel like what I wanted.
Right.
Not because of me totally, but things changed. The universe changed.
Yes.
And you just make that change.
Yes.
And it's scary.
And
back to fear. Back to the word fear again.
It's the worst thing that we could ever have.
It holds all of us back. Yeah.
It really does. And sometimes we don't recognize it. So, that's where taking the time, people say, take the time to go within. Take the time to go within. I never quite I get it. Take the time to go within. But I've never had that, I went within and I had this magical, mystical, I never had that, excuse me. And
like a download, oh, wait a minute, I got it now.
Oh,
I'm waiting for that.
Yeah. But I've had it on an everyday basis in little bits. So I think I was born almost with it. It's like sometimes I think, oh, how much I'm going to explode if I go any higher, any faster, any more excited. You know, I'm literally going to blow. Some people never experience that. You know, they never experience that. And this isn't a look what's good in Marybeth thing. It's for everybody. Now, I'm not saying people want to be like me. Everybody doesn't want to walk around all passionate, all excited, and all the time. And that's fine. But there is a way that, you know, you can be this way about it and, you know, just do it in a peaceful way. And because you mirror who you're with, right? I mean, you're not going to go into a client like me and sit there and talk to them like this. However, if I was the salesperson, I'm not going to go in there like this when I need to sit behind and be very calm and cool, you know? So
you got to read the situation.
You have to read it.
I want to talk about...
What do you want to talk about, Steve? Let's talk.
Manifesting.
Okay.
But also journaling and writing it down and how important that is. Yeah. Now we've got to the point where we're going to reset. We're thinking about those things, those positive affirmations. We're changing our language, you know, get rid of try and hope and all of those, and replace them with, you know, trust and words like that.
I know.
Right. But writing it down, scientifically proven, is so beneficial, right?
Yes. And we already knew back in all those books that are redone now, we already knew that writing crystallizes thought. And we were told that energetically. Energy is where it all begins. It's where I began, by the way, energy from the book, Power of Your Subconscious. That's Robert Schuller, The Power of Positive Thinking.
Yeah.
And I go back to that because it brings God in with all this craziness. Sometimes I need to be reset.
Yeah.
But what was I saying?
In terms of manifesting and writing it down.
It
crystallizes your thought.
Yes, it crystallizes thought. Now, with the Joe Dispenzas and Bruce Liptons out there, it's proven. It's proven.
It really is, and over again. And one would think, you know, today's technology, you know what? I am going to positive affirmations. I'm going to write it down on my phone. It's not the same as taking an old school pen and a piece of paper and the mind-hand connection. You retain it. It's what you should be doing.
It really is. It does make a difference. It truly does make a difference. Try it. If you know, journal. What does it mean to you if I were to say to you as a coach, okay, Steve, let's start journaling. What do you think that means? What do you think most people think it means if you happen to be aware?
Okay. I know where you're going, but if I just heard that, I would think, well, I'm going to write a journal about my life. You know, today I was hanging out with Marybeth Stevenson from Let's Talk Miracles, and we had a great conversation. I go on to the next one. What did I do today? I stopped, you know, at Wendy's for lunch or whatever it might be. But that's not what we're talking about in terms of journaling.
That's exactly it. It's well, you can do that if you want to.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but I think what you'll find if you do that is when you journal about that, you tend to journal about what isn't right, what they did to you, what happened at work, what, you know, unfortunately, you know, that's what most people take journaling. I mean, if you find someone's journal stuffed in your house from, you know, somebody that lived there 50 years ago or whatever, it's always hard. Like, it's always something traumatic.
Right, emotional or whatever it might be. Well, scientifically proven again, and you can Google it and do the research, but gratitude, practicing gratitude on a regular basis, journal the gratitude. So the two things I just mentioned, I might flip that around and say, I had a great conversation with Marybeth Stevenson. She made me think about things and potentially changed my life. Next item. I went to Wendy's today, and I never realized how good that, and I'm not endorsing anybody here in fast food, but picking anything. And I never realized how good their French fries taste. You know, but a positive, you know. If I was writing today, and I had this thought before we even came here, I was hanging out on the couch, and my cat came up, and I adopted this cat recently. It was a rescue, like maybe 4 months old.
Oh.
And I realized what joy he brings me.
Wow. See, that's big.
But in another life, prior to my journey, yeah, his cat, great, okay. Well, he got water, yeah, we're good. Yeah, all right, see you later. Now he's like hugging me, and I tell him, come here, give me a kiss. He comes right and gives me a kiss.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like I'm giving to him, he's giving back in terms of, you know, love. I care.
Love.
But I would put, I'm grateful, and I would write that in my journal for him.
What's your cat's name?
Rocco.
Okay, so you're grateful for
And
Rocco.
I'm adopting another one in 2 weeks.
Are you? See?
Yeah.
The love, you want more of it.
Well, yeah, and I want to give it back too.
Yeah.
You know? And I found one, and you have a feeling. When I saw him, he's the one, and he's a dog. The same thing.
Right.
I found another one, but I'm grateful for them, and that's what we should be journaling.
Yes.
On a regular basis.
Yes. It's basic, and I did finish my thought, which is so me, on the affirmation part. When we say
Don't worry, I'll keep up.
It's okay. When we say the affirmation, when we're writing down the thoughts, they have to mean something. It wouldn't behoove you to, like I said, say it in a robotic. Like my husband's very left brain. He'll go through our affirmations. I am blah, blah, blah. I am blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, well, that was a lot of blah, blah, blah. Like, go in. What do you want? What do you feel? Still, 22 years. He puts his hand on my coattails and says, you run. I like the way it feels to live it. But it's almost like he needs to be uncapped or something, like this little plug in his head, or maybe not.
Well,
maybe,
I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah, like...
And maybe, how about this? If you're going to put that in your journal, gratitude, right?
Yes.
Get detailed about what you're seeing, feeling, tasting, sensing,
yes,
touching, whatever it is, a little more descriptive, and then eventually it'll start to flow out of you.
And it does. How do you go back when you journal? Do you go back and read your journals?
Yeah.
Okay, is that insightful for you?
It is, because it's almost like a timeline.
Okay.
And my thoughts from here to there, and as we move forward, it's kind of interesting when you look back. And
yeah.
I journaled a little bit, like back in the day, like 15 years ago. And to look back what I was thinking, leaving a certain job or doing whatever. I want to tell people, with a couple of minutes we have left, when you work with them on a level of a healer, life coach, hypnotherapy, how does it all begin for you?
It's honestly, it's beyond me. Because when you use the word healer, I almost get like timid, which I know is hard to believe, but I do. It's like, oh, I'm a healer? But I am.
But you are.
And what's happened, and this has been since I was young, just the very energy that I am can heal a situation, or can lift a situation, or can create chaos, and people will leave their jobs that they've been in. I'm that person. There was a book, Bringer of the Dawn, 100 years ago, which explained me, and I was like, that's me. It always seems when I first go, and actually you can attest to this, chaos and you know, lots of things going back and forth, but it's just because you need to swish it. I don't do that on purpose. Trust me. I don't. So, you know, my husband, right before he died, he had hurt his knee. He needed surgery. He could hardly walk on the knee for a year. And it was a sports injury, so it was his whole life. And literally the night or 2 nights before he died, he said, will you work on my knee? Now, what's that mean? I didn't do work at that time in that category. And I did, because of my belief system. He was like...
Was he aware of your energy and
he was
at
aware,
that time?
He was aware of my belief system.
Okay.
He was aware of my magic, of things that I wanted would happen. He resented me for that for quite a while. He had to come around again. You know, he fell in love with me for it. Then he resented me for it. And then he came around again and thought, this is great. Wow. What am I, crazy?
Yeah, fix my knee.
Yeah, fix my knee.
Wow.
So anyway, I was doing the weirdest stuff, truthfully. I was like pressing on his toes, pushing in here like, yeah, remember when. But I was guided to do it. But in my head, like, I didn't know I was healing. I didn't know that I swear to you, the next day, he was completely healed. And with his funeral, several people that he worked with that I never met said, they're like, oh my gosh, he said you were a witch, a good witch, but he said you healed his knee, a knee that he suffered from since a kid. And I was like, at the time, I was a little preoccupied. But honestly, when I thought about that, I thought, I did. Like, I didn't know I did because he died. And so that has what's kept me in the healing category all that time. I think, no, there is something to this. So it's just, it pretty much, I don't do anything. I really don't. If Marybeth gets in the way, in coaching, if I get in the way of resetting, of helping someone reset their lives, if I get in the way of healing, and I wouldn't take someone that said, I have a tumor, can you heal my tumor? That's not who I am. I'm not that person. But if you say to me, I've been getting bumps on my face, you know, it's who's the matter with you? More than what's the matter with you? Let's, you know, do your doctor stuff. Let's go in and see who's the matter with you. And there's so many different ways to go in and see that. You could do it through talk therapy. You could do it through, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, so the therapy works a little different than just hypnotizing someone. You could do it meditation if you're not comfortable with the word hypnosis. But just the energy alone is very powerful. Like, people can come into, and I'm saying this because we all can master this energy. When you've mastered the energy to a point, when didn't you ever just, I mean, how many times a day that you hear, oh my gosh, I always feel so much better when I talk to you, or,
oh yeah,
you know, even you and I, we've done shows in the past. How many times we've said to each other,
like positive vibe.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. You walk into a party and this feels weird. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave early. Or you walk into another one. It's like, there's a nice vibe going here.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to hang out.
Yeah.
Because collectively,
Yes.
it's the energy of everybody.
Right.
Whether it's down, whether it's up. In the seconds we have left, to work with you, free consult.
Yes.
It starts on your website.
It
Somebody
starts
goes
on my,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
Let'sStartMiracles.com. And, you know, you don't have to do, because at the end of this, Steve, at the very end of this, what we really need to do collectively is we need to bring us up. You know, enough of this playing down. If we all collectively were to take one night a week and go to a meeting where you just hold energy for people, you know, and that's a proven thing. And I would love to do that with my group of people. And I will on my site eventually, where we just go, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And we hold energy for that person. And then we hold energy for the world, because we need to know who we are in order to get out of the mess that we're in.
And reset.
And reset.
There it is. Yeah. Go to the website and reset. Start the conversation. Let'sTalkMiracles.com. Marybeth, great having you with us today.
Great to be here.
Yeah. Learned so much. And these principles were put in place years ago, as we said. Thankfully, there's a new awareness now.
They're biblical. That's the thing.
And then there's that.
They're actually, I mean, I know that turns a lot of people off, but these aren't words of wisdom that people just grabbed hold of. I mean, these are things that were said, but we didn't understand back then. That's what my thing is. It's repetitive year after year.
Or we're afraid of it.
Yeah.
Well, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
And there we go back to the fear thing. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Start the reset. Thank you again for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.